This is Detort Ideologies of Corruption and Crime, the dick everyone craves. I'm your host, Pedikey, and I'm here with my co-host, Macintosh. We cover all the highlights of the week from the world around us in an attempt to expose the truths beneath the lies.
Today's featured guest is former adjunct psychoanalytical theorist at Swain Phillips University, Drawback. Welcome to our show, Drawback.
Thank you so much, Pedikey. Thank you so much, Macintosh. I really appreciate you guys letting me come on your podcast and just spill whatever knowledge I have on my cranium at the time. Cranium? Yes.
And we appreciate you being here, and as do our fans. So why don't we get into the topics of discussion for this week?
So on the news this week has been Britney Spears' conservatorship and the abuses that she's been going through with it. Her father, Jamie Spears, controls her estate and other aspects of her life, so she can't decide who she dates, if she can have kids, or if she could get married. They made her get an IUD, and they put her on Valium when her Las Vegas show was canceled. It was only supposed to be temporary, but it's been going on since 2008. What do you guys think of that?
I think that's entirely too long for another adult to run another person's life who you can see consciously. She's going on tours. She's out there performing. You can see she's of right mind. How are you this restrictive with what you can do?
Yeah, that's, it is really insane that a legal system exists in this country where something like this can happen. This is almost indentured servitude. And Britney might be a little wacky, but who isn't? So does that mean that you need to sign your life away to be somebody's ward, be forced to perform, not have control of your money, your children, even your body? This is crazy that this could happen, right? But there's like legal justification for it. And the judge even said, like, the way she acted in court hurt her case, which is kind of crazy because how are you supposed to act in that situation logically? Like, right?
How long? You act crazy one time. We all get mental breakdowns. Look at Kanye West. He has them more often than anyone else. But how long can you really hold someone like responsible for one crazy incident, for 10, 20, 15 years? No, it should be like maybe a 6 month to a year probation. Look, people would get less time for murdering someone off on like some like parole, It doesn't make sense.
It's very abusive and way too much. And no person deserves to live like that. And it's terrible. And it just shows you how our legal system works, and it's broken. The system is completely broken.
Yeah.
Something else that was broken was John McAfee's neck.
Allegedly, by whom we may never know. But this is
McAfee didn't kill himself.
McAfee didn't kill himself. It's not really trending like Epstein didn't kill himself. Weirdly enough.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think maybe it's just like people are kind of getting used to this. Maybe it's kind of hard to distinguish. Like it's an old, white, sort of connected guy dying in mysterious circumstances. And it's kind of like, oh, again? Okay. It sort of blends into the background of news. It happens on a fairly regular basis. But these things are like more, they should be a bigger story. They tend to get buried in these like weird partisan politics discussions. But when somebody like regular basis are getting whacked, like journalists getting whacked, like connected people, like
Khashoggi.
Yeah, exactly. And where, it's why doesn't the news media stop and question this? It always gets buried. Things like,
do you think perhaps because it happened in a different country is why it's not? Well, I guess you're right. Khashoggi happened in a different country as well. Maybe it is just his political motives that is why it's hidden.
Yeah, and we're sort of very adept at getting other countries to do our dirty work as well. So this may not have even, maybe he did kill himself. Who knows what happened? But
why would he put it out there so much that he wouldn't? On Twitter, he got that tattoo. He had a lot of ways of saying, "I will not kill myself. Someone's going to kill me."
Why are all these people that are repeatedly saying, "I will not kill myself," end up killing themselves? Isn't that a little suspicious?
Like that
Just a
actor
little-
back in the days, when the pandemic started. What was his name with the curly hair? He was one of those. He was a comedian guy that started getting woke, I suppose you could call it.
No clue who you're talking about.
Do you not know who I'm talking about? What's that guy's name? He was like an actor guy. He did.
I know who you're talking about. Carrot Top.
Carrot Top
No,
died?
not Carrot Top.
No.
I hate you.
Oh, he died. I think it was pretty recently. Seth Rogen.
Well,
That's fine. Well, I don't think he's woke. I think he goes with the liberal agenda, so he's safe.
he got whacked for I don't know, smoking.
Ralphie May died not too long ago. I don't know if that's actually who you're referencing.
No,
They
I
died a while
say
ago.
Cappy.
Oh, not Chubby. Sorry.
No, the guy that was in Thor. He was in Thor and Terminator Salvation, and he died by suicide.
You're really not helping.
Anyway, back to John McAfee and Jeffrey Epstein.
Shout out to the curly-headed dude that died in early COVID, I guess.
Well,
Well, he did a video saying he wasn't going to commit
Oh.
suicide. That's why I brought him up.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not
Actors could be involved in this weird Bohemian Grove shit. Maybe they're like sort of forbidden fruit for these elites. I don't know. It's like any amount of weird shit is possible. But like, look at the story about Jeffrey Epstein. Like, how weird is that? And like, how little covers. There's been like a couple specials on it, but compared to the amount of press that something as inconsequential as like kneeling for the anthem or whatever, this is like,
Or like turning away from the flag. You know what I mean?
yeah, right. I mean, that's the sort of hot button issues that is kind of like, okay, right, this may or may not make you angry, and it made sort of some people feel really strongly about it. Of course, well,
I mean, they have the right to do it, though.
sure you do, right? But also realize that's going to make a lot of people angry. But okay, fine. That's why they put shit like this out to distract from this real kind of like the building collapse, right? Condos are collapsing in Florida because engineers are not, some engineers are not doing their job. And
Actually, in 2018, an engineer said that was not structurally sound, and the owners ignored that and never fixed it.
well,
CNN just released pictures not too long ago. 2 pictures that were taken, I think, like maybe, was it 72 hours or 72 days? I don't know. So it was like some time period right before the collapse.
yeah. I mean, and so like buildings are literally crumbling. Political dissidents are getting whacked in broad daylight, and nobody, with impunity. Like they could just nobody cares. And we're worried, somebody's turning away from the flag. It's like, okay, really? All right, that's prioritization in the news media. But it's
Yeah, well, it sells more clicks right now to sell something that's very very woke in the agenda right now. Anything like if you look at CNN every day in the top stories, you will see something or COVID related, probably variant and Trump. That's what's selling right now, and also woke activism.
yep.
I feel like also the idea that your government can kill you kind of terrifies people where they don't want to even look into it.
Is it like your president threatening to drone strike you?
Ooh. Yeah, good. That's
That's very nice. Thank you, Mr. Biden.
nice for not letting that slip. Yeah, we can't not discuss that. That was a very crazy piece of news. Like, what?
Yeah, it's very bold of him to say, don't worry about your guns because we'll just drone strike you anyway. Like, oof, is that really the plan? Like, what are we doing here?
This is the second time Biden has mentioned it, plus other senators, prominent senators on the Democratic Party. So,
do you think there's really a back plan and they just keep accidentally spilling information in half truths while they're speaking.
I think they're terrified because of the January 6th that it was like, oh, they can actually reach us.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying just Democrats. I think Republicans are probably in on this too. Like, this is not just one-sided.
Every one of them is, a little too aware that
implicated.
They are. Well, look at what happened last summer. Both Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi's houses got vandalized, like pretty crazily. Yeah, too.
Rightfully so, or not. Fuck them both.
And maybe it's and this is just like posturing, right? I mean, so the mob took it to a level, right? With over the last summer leading up to the Capitol Hill riots, and now the government is just like, hey, remember we have nukes, but okay, right? You're going to nuke Cleveland? What is the implication there? Yeah.
And also, they have to keep us divided because as BLM and all that side showed, they can burn down cop places and destroy.
Well, that's a...
But I was saying that both sides have the capability of coming together to take down the government, and it terrifies them.
I'm not saying they should.
Why does one federal building get more coverage than the other?
Exactly.
Petticky.
Right?
Why do you think that? Yeah, that's so interesting that it's kind of brushed off as more activism for one, and one is terrorism.
But, well, it's just like divide and conquer. The longer they can keep these sides at each other's throats and thinking that, the other one is the enemy. But look at the commonality here. These people aren't really attacking each other, really. I mean, there was some sort of tension here and there, but, but for the most part, they're attacking the edifices of modern culture, modern society, right? In the cities, it's, the Starbucks,
which is a good thing,
right? Smash the modern world, right? And
burn it all to the ground. That's what I don't want to see.
Or the deep state, the image of the deep state in the January 6th case.
It's almost all people are trying to get freedoms, but the government's telling you to fight each other instead of working together to keep the peace for them.
Well, it's smart on the government's part. That's what they need to do.
And back to John McAfee.
Hey, just a little tangent.
So, how? Another thing, just totally inexplicable. How does this guy gets basically, it would seem, whacked or at least counted to committing suicide over not paying taxes on $4 million. That's kind of a paltry, offense. But he had been on the run for years. He was.
You mean for murder?
He was wanted for questioning for murder in Belize, which is suspect, right?
Allegedly.
So he he did something. I heard this interview with him. He was talking about escaping from Belize, and he got a decoy to go to one end of the border, and he was being followed by the Belizean police, or I don't know if that's the correct term, but so he got this decoy to sort of make this public journey to the northern border.
And it looked just like him?
Yeah, but and then he snuck away in the other direction and escaped. And he'd been on the lam since then. He was living on a yacht. I think he was in Cuba for a while. This guy is a libertarian hero, right? And I think that's more why he was an important target. He's a Robin Hood figure. Not necessarily that dangerous, but the idea of him, of some guy that can just be sailing around on a yacht, untouchable by the government, you need to get rid of that guy. I think that's the conspiratorial.
He's an interesting, independent thoughted, if that's a word, character. Anyone who's really independent thinking, it's really, it challenges the mainstream, because the mainstream has two sides and they always want you to fight back and forth. But once you veer off either one of those hating each other paths is where they really do not want you to go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something pretty soon, because everybody's pretty together on the Florida thing, the collapse of the condos. Everybody's coming together saying this sucks.
Yeah, which is nice, but sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's bringing people together. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something very shortly to divide us back up.
Oh, are you planning or you're calling a hit job? There's some conspiracy hit job that's going to go out soon. They're going to do some mass shooting or something.
False flag.
A false flag. It's
Yeah, that's right. That's
or just like random stacks of bricks laid out in the town, waiting.
Come on, those were staged photos.
hey, the UFOs might start fighting back. Think about this though: the U.S. government is now talking about UFOs for some reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about it like a lot. Like, why is this going? Why are we talking?
It's the drip theory. They drip you with information, drip, 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 until everyone can start getting used to it, and then they give you the flood of everything they have.
Maybe it's odd. It's odd that this is starting to become like a mainstream, and it's also, it seems to be getting like pushed on certain news channels more than others. I don't know why. Maybe that's just.
God damn it! I hope aliens are real.
I hope they, I careful what you wish for.
Can I
It's
say an
scary.
experience I had when I was a kid? That is crazy.
Is it probing? Because
no,
if so, no.
Unfortunately, it was not probing.
Unfortunately.
When I was a young lad,
Going crazy?
I was driving home with someone. So when I was younger, I was driving home from babysitting, so I was obviously sober of everything. And I saw something in the sky that, this man sounds so weird. It looked like a pirate ship or something. But it was going hella fast, and we couldn't catch up to it, and then it disappeared. And I'm not...
Had you just seen the Pirates of the Caribbean
It
movie?
was just weird. But I don't know what it looked like, but in my eyes, it looked like it was like shaped like a ship. Like, I don't know what it was actually shaped like. That's just what my brain identified it as.
Ship shape?
It was kind of. But I'm saying unidentified flying object.
And sorry, was this in the star, or like was this like really high up, or was it like level with the star? Like
it was
just
about
above
where the
or within the atmosphere
and stars are, like, and it was kind of orangish yellow. And it was really weird, and I don't know what it was, and I never knew what it was, and I just kind of was like, oh, that was weird.
If it's orange and yellow, do you think it could have been a light projection? Just because it's like someone's headlight or something in a weird... I like that you're that crazy that you did this. Good for you. That you've actually followed it.
You could go your whole life going, what was that? Or you can attempt to find out what it was.
What was your final vision of it? Did it just disintegrate, or did it just like float up, or what are we talking?
It shot out into space.
It what?
It went fast. We followed it, and then it got smaller, and then it stopped. It disappeared.
Oh, because it could have been like already to fucking
Africa.
It
shot out.
But it just shot through.
If you lived in like the Middle Ages,
I'd be burnt.
Maybe, or they would have said like you saw God, and you'd be like Joan of Arc or something like that.
God loves ships.
Yeah, the ships.
Pirate ships. I'm just saying. Someone spoke to me, and it was God with ships.
I don't even know how I can transition this back to John McAfee. I'm trying to think right now, and I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Well, he took a ship to Belize.
But how about the even more suspicious is the reporter, right? Christopher Sign, the guy. Exactly. So he broke a story on
I've never heard
Hillary Clinton. It was related to Hillary Clinton. It didn't directly involve Hillary Clinton, but in the run-up to the presidential election in 2016. There was this story that broke that Hillary Clinton was conducting government business on her private email servers. And this sort of became a big deal about a week before the election. And, she was being investigated by Obama's Justice Department for this. And there was a meeting while this investigation was going on that occurred. It was an impromptu meeting between Bill Clinton and the Attorney General of the United States, Loretta Lynch. And they landed private jets. They landed their Gulfstream jets on this private runway in the middle of nowhere and had this private conversation for 30 minutes. And then the next day, Hillary Clinton was off the hook. Yeah, well, you have Bill Clinton and
No, nobody
Lynch
does
did.
that, like a tarmac
And-
situation.
But so they were trying to keep it secret, and this guy, this journalist, he was a Alabama university football player, and he just became a local journalist, and he broke this story, and I ended up writing a book about it, and then now he's dead. He got he committed suicide, but suicide in quotation marks. So this is
They all do.
a little sus.
2 shots to the back of the head. Best suicide I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, right. So like nobody, that doesn't register with people now. It was just sort of a little news story. Some people blame, Donald Trump's victory on this story. Like it kind of tipped the scales in his favor in the run up to the election. The email, and the sort of the
emails,
the story about
definitely.
Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton meeting on the tarmac. That seemed a little suspicious. Like there was collusion between the Obama White House and the Clinton campaign.
I found myself not able to vote for her. I mean, by far for so many other reasons, but the audacity of her to say that she didn't understand the C on the classified documents stood for classified. I'm like, wow, you were in charge of the State Department. What is going on? You've been in here for 20 years. You don't understand C is for classified.
Like the government is basically these people's country club.
Mm-hmm.
It's their sort of hangout spot. You could go there and play grab ass and kind of hurl insults at other people and get rich. Yeah, it's not literally.
I do like me some
not
grab
literally,
ass.
not anymore.
Yeah, slapping ass. What we used to do in the university is when one person was just sitting there like smoking a cigarette or whatever, we'd throw our penis on their shoulder, right? And then the other one would turn his head and just start sucking on it. It was so funny. It was like, hey,
game.
prank, penis in my mouth.
Yeah.
I've never played that game. I'm not interested.
Anyway, go on. It's usually just it's a friend, like in the frat or the university. That's what we do, because it's fun, guy on guy fun, Celebrate Pride Month.
Okay, so moving on to the next thing. So this place called Brandeis University in Massachusetts, their Prevention Advocacy and Resource Center came up with an oppressive language list. They basically said that a lot of words are oppressive and a lot of things we say are oppressive and we shouldn't use them anymore. So they came up with this list, and I just wanted to talk about it maybe. Like, for instance, oppressive language is calling someone an addict. The possible alternatives are a person with a substance use disorder. Yeah. Or a homeless person should be a person experiencing housing insecurities.
Or
unhoused.
our unhoused friends.
A prostitute should be a person who engages in sex work, which I don't know how that's any better. Like, I don't understand how that's any better. You're calling out a person either way that they're a prostitute.
Isn't it funny that sex work is still illegal in the states that want all this? Like...
Or abusive relationships are now relationships with abuser. They say because you have to let people know that, one person's abused and this person's in a relationship with the abuser. But I think abusive relationship pretty much already says that.
I did see one that was rather interesting. There's one that says trigger warning. The word trigger has connotations to guns for many people. We can give the same heads up using the same language, whatever. Before most woke videos now, if there's something like some girl getting sexually assaulted or something, they'll be like trigger warning. So like you're saying, even Disney, like there's mass companies that have this trigger warning. Like, shouldn't it how is that considered offensive now? So now everyone's got to change their language again. It's extending the goalposts further and further every time.
It truly is, and it's kind of becoming disgusting because it's just politicized. It's just to be like, I'm a better person than you, so I thought of these ways to tell people that you're safe because of me.
We call that the woke Olympics.
They're going full force on it. The other one is calling someone an African American. They want you to call them black with a capital B, because not all black people are from Africa or America. But I remember us specifically being told not to call people black.
I didn't think the blacks were in favor of that, but
as a professor in hip hop, among my other scholarships, I do respect that we do all caps like MF Doom. It really is nice that we do all caps with the letters.
No, just the capital B.
No, I do not respect that. In fact, I feel like they all should be capitalized. Black. It should be like accentuated. Let them know what you are. Be proud.
Or maybe like, how the fat person be like black.
What the fuck?
No.
Welcome to hell, table for one.
The term African American is kind of odd, right? Because like, how many these people are American? They're they've been quite a long time, right?
How many generations deep do we have to be until we're American?
I mean, it's like, do you say you're a Mexican American, or do I say I'm like an English American? It's like, and that would be more like legit. Well, right, but we don't, right? Because I'm from Sacramento. It's
quite strange. Yeah, I'm just one generation removed from being a complete foreigner, as my parent was born in another country, as well as Pedicure over here. So it's really strange because I consider myself American over being Mexican American or Latinx, however the president wants to say that. That was so cringe, by the way. Latinx, like I didn't know we did that because we don't want to use Latina and Latino, which is commonly used throughout the Hispanic community
too, because Spanish is all feminine, masculine.
It's not Latinx. I thought it was Latinx.
I don't know. I heard Biden pronounce it, and that was my first time hearing it as a Hispanic person. So it was a little strange. And then what did he say? Something about we're afraid to get vaccines because they'll deport us. You think just because everyone has brown skin, they're going to just deport every single one of us? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Oh, Biden.
Yeah, he's a real racist piece of shit. I think the new wave generation, the younger, I think they more identify that, like especially the what's the one after Gen Zers. They definitely identify with the Latinx and the more non-gender pronouns, which is good for them. Do what you want to do. I'll just call you like he, she, maybe that. No, I don't think I could do that. Maybe
you. Hey, you.
I like you. That's a good one. That covers everybody. Unless they want to do they, because they represents two people, right? So you can't say you. You gotta be like, hey, you got, or you can't say that. Hey, you people. Hey.
But they is like when you're using a pronoun. You is not a pronoun, right?
No, well, yeah, exactly. Well, so it actually.
I flunked English.
There was a correction to like standard like use of grammar recently to add the non-gender specific plural, right? So they, right, instead of like for example, you said like the applicant shall demonstrate her credentials or his credentials, you would say their credentials. So it's that was grammatically incorrect up until not too long ago, but they changed it just so that you would have this gender specific plural. Like
English was not confusing enough. I feel bad for any future foreigners that come into the country and have to learn English because, man, stuff's about to get rough.
Tangent on that. Hold on. So what really bugs me is the word read and read is spelled the goddamn same. Read and read. R-E-A-D. How the fuck am I supposed to read that? I mean, read that. Who knows?
English is like the most like put together like bits and pieces
Shitstorm.
other stuff language in the entire world. Probably. It lots of other languages sort of developed in sort of a a concerted ethnic center and didn't like, maybe, I don't know. I'm not a linguist, but I know that like English is sort of a mix of like a million different things, and it's like it's odd.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Speaking of pronouns.
Yeah.
How about the language of everything going on right now? They would prefer that you say the possible alternatives of police brutality, protests, BLM, COVID-19, etc. Name what you are referring to. And their explanation is being vague about important issues risks miscommunication and can also avoid accountability. So when you're talking to a coworker and you say everything going on right now, instead you have to be like, hey, what's up with that burning down of that building because of BLM, because of the police brutality? Like, how awkward is that conversation from compared to everything going on right now?
I think I would more compare the vagary to a LeBron James when it comes to China and the mistreatment of the Uyghurs. You see, that being vagary about how it could financially impact someone of his stature, instead of thinking about the people who are, having mass genocide committed on them. I think that might be a little more comparable example of what they're trying to illustrate with this woke language.
So maybe we should send a list to LeBron.
Yeah, and also anytime a police officer is ever involved with any incident. LeBron, what do you think?
I don't know. I think our culture has been hijacked by perverts and morons. I
think the author...
Anthony Weiner selling his NFT of his picture that he sent to an underage chick. Is that all right?
NFT?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't hear about that. That picture he's selling as an NFT.
How much did that go for?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't fucking follow up. Nobody cares about that wiener.
So,
huh? Just like our fans, right? All these dickheads.
Well, that was the genesis of the Hillary Clinton email situation, which led to a topic of our discussion today: the journalist who committed suicide. That all started with Anthony Weiner, because it's
always back to the dick. Any way it can get, it goes back to the dick.
It started at the dick. It was the dick pic that he sent to a 15-year-old that got him in hot water with the police, that got his laptop confiscated, that made the discovery that those emails were getting sent on a private email server, that led to the investigation of Hillary Clinton, which led to the tarmac meeting, which led to the news story, which led to the journalist getting suicided.
Don't you think it's odd that this is a connection to pedophilia? Is that rare with the Clintons, that they have connections to pedophilia?
It must be rare. I've heard a couple stories, but I think it might be the same story. It couldn't all be the same story, like every year after year.
I feel like I heard a story about her campaign manager, and that might have to do with pedophilia. Maybe Mr. Clinton visiting Epstein's Island. I don't know, though. Is there many links to pedophilia with the Clintons?
Could this be a different Clinton?
Maybe I'll think of a totally different Clinton. I'm stupid. Thank you. My bad.
There's so many Clintons out there nowadays.
Yeah, I think it was a William Clinton, not Bill. Stupid me.
The picture with the blue dress.
That is.
And he was friends with Bill.
It's a good-looking dress.
So
I don't blame him. It's gorgeous.
How weird was their relationship that he was good friends with Bill Clinton and had a picture of
Trump.
That. Also Trump.
And
he had a painting of George W. Bush playing with the Twin Towers like toys.
3 presidents. You know what? That's the only thing I'm giving Obama props for. He made it out of there without fucking Epstein connections. Good for Obama. He's a family man. If anything, for Obama, he's a fucking family man. He's taking care of his family and nobody fucking else.
Good for him, by the way, because honestly, getting out there with no connection, that is fucking.
That's the minimum requirement.
But
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
for him.
apparently, it's such a big requirement that barely anyone make it.
So what's the over/under? Over/under.
That Biden's a pedophile? Fucking 100%.
Who suicides themselves next? Julian Assange, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Julian Assange. Ghislaine Maxwell is where they want her, and she's giving them intel they need.
Nah.
Julian Assange has been the poster boy for people that want to go against the government. They need to get rid of him next.
That motherfucker lived in a closet for fucking a decade or something. He is not. He's a roach that's living under a goddamn refrigerator. They're never gonna fucking kill him.
He lived in the female lavatory of the Uruguayan embassy in London. Yep, because that was the only place in the building that had the right window or, had the feng shui that he wanted.
His fucking Wi-Fi.
He made them convert the female lavatory into his primary.
That's not pervert.
Yeah.
So another man that's taken away from women for his own feelings.
Hold on. Do you know he identifies as a woman? Hold on. Have you asked him? You're getting ahead of yourself. How dare you with your ignorance?
Situations have happened recently that kind of remind me of that, where women are pushed out of their comfort zone. And
in a spa?
Yes. For instance, in LA, we spa where a gentleman, or I guess he considers himself transgender, went into the bathroom or the locker room of the ladies, and actually the sauna as well, and exposed himself in front of teenage girls and women to the point where they were so uncomfortable they had to leave. And apparently he has done it since 2018, when a guest had put a review up saying everything was great at the spa except for the guy that was in the bathroom talking about how he slept with over 100 women and how he's attracted to women, and it's great that he gets to go into the girls' bathroom here. That's
a big negative.
Everything
is great except.
I'm just saying that women. I'm gonna get feminist here. I'm not truly a feminist. I'm like, I prefer all.
She's lying. She's a huge feminist.
But anyway, women like have fought for like over 100 years for like equality. And
I'd say longer, centuries, because I'm a feminist.
Well, no, but it's been only 100 years since we've had equality. Like
we've been fighting since Eve. Adam took, or
but I mean, like the suffragists who fighted for us to vote, and we started getting where we could do sports and we could start doing things more. And now it feels like we can't even go to the spa without some guy he's claiming transgender. I know transgenders, and they're not going there to be like exposing themselves and checking out people. They're not doing that. And this needs to be figured out, because a select few are taking advantage of this from what I see, and they are making women unsafe and uncomfortable. And it is completely ridiculous. I can't go to the spa without, women are already uncomfortable with their bodies. It's just how we are. And to see some dude swinging his thing around, or some chick, if he wants to call himself, swinging his dick around, and we gotta be all like uncomfortable, and it's the spa. You're supposed to be comfortable.
Well, shouldn't like the spa have, that particular spa, shouldn't it have the discretion to kick that particular guy out? Shouldn't it say like, okay, you know the rules, but you, buddy, have to go. You are too much.
That's the thing about it.
Can't they do that?
No, because California passed a law saying that they are not allowed to discriminate and call someone who claims they're transgender. They are not allowed to kick someone out, which I totally get. But I feel like when you sell passes to your place, you should let people know that if someone claims they're transgender, they can come in, just so they know there's a possibility that there'll be some dick swinging in front of their face. I mean, honestly, tell me, and
they should have the warning sign with it. a little.
Well, I mean, I'm not rude, but I mean, like, honestly, I would not feel comfortable, and I would probably take off just because, like, this guy apparently was in the shower with women talking about how many women he slept with. Tells you that guy is not there with the intentions of, like, I want to be treated like a woman and I want to have rights and stuff. This guy's like, I'm gonna get pervy
Allegedly.
and like this just wanted to like get pervy in the showers and check out women that were naked and found a
Allegedly.
Allegedly. For sure, allegedly on all the things I said. We don't know. I'm
saying allegedly because legally.
We don't know
allegedly
what's going on. They haven't even found the dude and talked to him or the chick and talked to them.
From the chick's story, the only issue, not the only issue, the major issue is he's whipping his dick in front of minors. And also, when you're at the spa, even as a guy in the locker room, the only ones that have their dick out are like the creepy, like 90-year-old, like weirdo fucking guys that are probably like fucking perverts. So it's like though it's the weird, like nobody just goes bottomless. Like, have you ever been in a spa where women are just going bottomless, or is that a
change?
thing?
But you're not like flaunting it, walking around with it naked. You're like, okay, change into your new clothes, move it along, do it this. You're not like, hey, check it out while you're walking around, swinging it around, whether it be tits or dick. You're not doing that. You're just getting dressed, moving along.
I can confirm it is the dudes that like walk around naked in gyms. It's always a type. It's old dudes. Like, what the fuck? Walking their wet ass on the little benches.
It really, and they have saggy ass balls every time. I look at them like,
I didn't know that was
God,
going
I'm going to be there one day with them saggy ass balls.
See, that's the other thing about this. Like, women are trying to get away from the saggy balls. They're not trying to get into the sauna and see saggy balls sitting around them. That's why they go to the one that has women only, which is fine if you're transgender and fully equipped. But, like, when you're just, like, talking pervy about ladies and sitting in a sauna, that's when it comes to another level. And it's like, all right, now you're just like, you're out of here.
So from the woman, her account who took the video of this, she says, as a woman, I have a right to feel comfortable without a man exposing himself, okay? So basically, that's kind of the strongest argument, is that a woman should be able to feel safe in her space without a, I'm going to say, biological man, transgender woman, coming in and, freely just... It's not even that they were trying to be, kind of to themselves in something, or even in the corner change, or something to not just be flaunting in it. It's the fact that he was just, helicoptering his dick, allegedly. No, that's not true at all. But, he's just like swinging his dick allegedly.
All right. So I'm going to conclude this because apparently it's going to straight chaos. So I want to say, make sure all you dickheads follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Our name is Dick Podcast. Just look us up. We're on Linktree at.
Can I get my plug?
Linktree at Dirty Pilgrims. Check us out.
Also plugging my music over here. If you want to go listen to some beats and you fucking hate me, go ahead. Y'all go to Spotify. Y'all go to Apple Music. Go wherever you go look for Drawback. In fact, we just dropped something. Who are you and why did you leave me this voicemail? Yeah, that'll be up on streaming services. Go ahead and check that shit out too.
No, for sure. And we look forward to talking to you all next week. So have a good.
Later, dickheads.
Any sponsors?
Still no sponsors.
My Pillow? That's the low-hanging fruit. Let us get fucking Mike Sizowski or whatever the fuck his name is. He's like that character from fucking Monsters Inc.
We got Juicero. Juicero, it's a packaged juice, dry juicer.
Okay, I'll do that shit. That sounds good.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Peloton. You buy a subscription, and they send you juice, and you juice it. But it's connected to Wi-Fi. And...
I'm fucking dying. Get the fuck out of here.
No. It's the juice you've been looking for. Look for us in your local department stores.
Yeah.
We're amazing and you'll love us. Please check us out. Juicero.
No, it's amazing. I drink one every morning. It's quite.
I can't.
Oh, there's real? I can't tell if you're fucking around anymore.
Huh?
I can't tell if you're fucking around and there's a real product or not.
I can't get my day without a Juicero. The children, they're wild. But with my Juicero, I manage.
Well, I hope we read that copy all right. So the DICC podcast is making strides. We've got sponsors now, apparently. So
Later, dickheads.
all right.
All right.